Hello, Carlsbad superstars. This is Mrs. Logan. I sure hope you had a chance to do our last STEM lab, week 16, because what we learned in week 16, we're going to build upon in today's lab. So if you didn't have a chance to do it, go back and do it now, and then continue on with this lab. For those of you who had watched number 16 about the gingerbread house and the gingerbread man and cookies, let's continue on our adventure. Here are your clues. Hey superstars, I am coming to you this week from the Carlsbad Farmers Market. And right behind me here we have the Artisan Shortbread Cookie Company, the Carlsbad Cookie Company. And today we're going to be learning how chemistry, science, and mathematics are coming together with...
Hi.
So show us, what do we have here?
So we have all shortbread cookies, including a whole line of gluten-free shortbread cookies. But our cookies are taken to the next level. Rather than just shortbread, we've decided to stuff some of them. So we played games and we found out we stuffed one with peanut butter and stuffed one with chocolate and caramel. We do gluten-free. We do all natural products. We're farm to bakery. So anything that we use, if we do a lemon cookie, it's actually with the zest of a real lemon, no artificial flavor.
Nice.
We have a little bit of everything.
So you have different kind of box packages. Oh, you can see.
Yeah, and the cookies were all. The idea of the company was to pay homage to Carlsbad, and so the cookies we made actually made a mold to make the cookies each look like the ranunculus flower from our Carlsbad flower fields, and then we source local ingredients anytime we can, and use our local ingredients in the cookies. We do little mini bags for the people who need to just eat a couple cookies now and then. We have sample boxes that have 8 different cookies that we use on a yearly basis. And then because our dog is famous in this book about math, we decided to come up with Heathie's treats. And these are dog cookies. Just like our cookies, they're gluten-free as far as these cookies go, and the dog cookies, and they're made with all human-grade material, so you could eat them as well.
Awesome. So this book shows Heath
Yes.
going on math.
Well, this book shows how math is used from Heath, from the baker at Carlsbad Cookie Company. And there's Heath,
my goodness.
our little dog.
Oh my goodness, how cute.
And it shows how Heath uses math to measure ingredients, where he has to use cups and half cups and 3/4 cups. It also shows how he uses math to, when he sells a product, to give change. And so it just talks about math in real life.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Ed.
You're welcome.
And we look forward to learning more.
You can't tell, but I'm smiling.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
If you've ever tried one of those Carlsbad cookies, you'll know they are absolutely delicious. So we're going to learn a little bit more about the process of making shortbread cookies, as well as learning some math problems to do with Heath later on in our lab. So in the story, Carlsbad Adventures, we're introduced to some characters who want to go to a math program, a summer math program. And the story follows these characters as they travel to different places in Carlsbad, and they learn how math is integrated into pretty much everything that we do in our community. So if you get a chance to check out the story, it's written by Nancy Glenn and illustrated by Julia Glenn. And again, it's called Carlsbad Adventures. So a reminder, recap from our last activity was that there's a lot of chemistry that goes into baking. You take all these ingredients and you add in a leavening agent or something that will create carbon dioxide to allow your cookie to rise, and you add heat to this equation. If you follow the recipe properly, in the end, you'll make some cookies. Now, you probably notice you're starting off with a liquid. You'll cream together the butter and the sugar, and maybe add your egg, and you've got a liquid. But then once you put in your leavening agents and put it in the oven, what comes out is very different than what you put in. You probably know a little bit about solids, liquids, and gases. And in chemistry and physics, these are called phases of matter. And a phase is a distinctive form of matter, like a solid chair or a glass of milk or fog or steam from hot water. Here's a short video of the different phases of matter.
Matter exists in several different forms called states. The three most familiar states are solid, liquid, and gas. All matter is made up of tiny particles called molecules. The molecules that make up a solid are arranged in regular, repeating patterns. Attractive forces between the molecules hold them firmly in place. However, the molecules can vibrate or move slightly. The molecules that make up a liquid flow easily around one another. Attractive forces between the molecules keep them from flying apart. Liquids take on the shape of their containers. The molecules that make up a gas fly in all directions at great speeds. Attractive forces between the molecules are not strong enough to hold them together. Increased energy, such as heat, can cause matter to change from one state to another as the increased energy makes the molecules in the matter move faster. For example, when water in the solid form of ice is heated, its molecules move faster and farther apart. Eventually, the ice will melt into liquid water. When liquid water is heated to a high enough temperature, its molecules move fast enough to break loose and fly into the air to form a vapor or gas. Cooling temperatures reverse the process.
So we see states of matter happening every day. You can take an ice cube out of the freezer, put it in a glass and watch it melt over time, and then put that same liquid then into a pot and boil it on the stove and turn it into a gas. Well, are there other things that you have around your house that also do the same thing? Can you think of other solids that can turn into a liquid? What about something in your kitchen? How about, say, butter? Or if you warm up chocolate? Those are both solids that can easily be turned into a liquid with heat. I bet if you look around your house, you can find many more examples of liquids that can turn into solids or solids that can turn into liquids. Turning into a gas is a little trickier. You may also be aware of the fact that there can be changes in matter, and those would be either physical or chemical. So in our baking of the cookies, we have a chemical reaction. Chemical reactions are occurring everywhere in the world around us, not just in a chemistry lab. And we can see it right here with our baking of the cookies. We start off with a liquid and we end up with a solid cookie. Temperature is what allows the carbon dioxide molecules to be released and for the chemical change to occur. A couple other examples of a chemical change would be the burning of wood or the rusting of metal. In both these examples, we start with one thing and end up with a completely different product. So a physical change is when matter changes form but not the chemical identity. Like when you chop wood and not burn it, when you chop it, you still have the same chemical identity. Another example would be is if you were to shred a piece of paper. So for our first challenge, we're going to look at the book Carlsbad Adventures. And we're going to join Chef Heath as he is ushering in a group of students to teach them about math and baking. He demonstrates how he weighs and measures all the ingredients, and he lets the students know that he uses a timer as his cookies bake. He uses math in ordering all his supplies and paying for them, and he assures his students that math is very important in baking. So, for our first challenge today, we are going to be baking shortbread cookies. All right, so to make one batch of shortbread cookies, we will need 1 cup of butter that is softened, 1/2 cup of sugar, and 2 cups of flour. So here I have 1 cup of butter, it's 2 sticks, and I just pulled them out of the refrigerator, so I'm gonna let them sit here for an hour and soften up. I have my flour and my sugar, and all 3 of these ingredients are in a solid state of matter. All right, superstars, so I've let my butter sit for about an hour, but it's still, you can see, super firm. I want it to be a little softer. So I'm gonna put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds and see if I can soften it up. If I put it in the microwave for too long though, what do you think is gonna happen to it? It's gonna turn into a liquid. So I'm gonna do 30 seconds and then check it and see if it's a little softer than this. This is a really good time to preheat your oven to 325 degrees. All right, so my butter after 30 seconds is much, you can see it's even starting to slide down the side. It is much softer than it was before. It's ready to go. And I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of sugar and 2 cups of flour. And I'll just level it off with my knife. So I know I'm getting 2 cups. 1. And 2. And then we'll mix it up. Grease in the bottoms, oil, and then I'm going to gently press my mixture into it. Move this out of the way so you can see this. Okay. Now, if you happen to be following a different shortbread recipe that you have at home, that's totally fine. My recipe says to bake it all in a big Pyrex bin and then at the end cut them into rectangular squares. But many different recipes also will suggest you cut them beforehand and then bake them as individual cookies. Now you may have realized we did not add a leavening agent, something to create a reaction, and in our case with cookies, it helps them to rise. So with shortbread cookies, we're going to have a very flat final product. The reason that we're going to prick some fork holes into our shortbread dough is to allow our cookies to cook evenly. Now I'm ready. Put them in the oven and let them bake for half an hour. that you know the ingredients for one batch of shortbread cookies, let's do a math problem with Heath. Heath got an order for 23 batches of his cookies. How many cups of sugar, flour, and butter will he need to buy in order to make enough cookies for his order? Remember that he'll need 1 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of sugar, and 2 cups of flour for each batch. For your third challenge, I want you to look in your pantry or in your refrigerator and see if you can find any products that can turn from a liquid to a solid or a solid to a liquid. You can also experiment with water by making ice, letting it melt, and then boiling it to make steam. Share any or all of your answers to our challenges to this Flipgrid account below. And a big thank you to the Carlsbad Cookie Company and their dog Heath for participating.